if you have engaged in cryptocurrencies and you have never lost, you have engaged in cryptocurrencies and you have never lost, it's not because you know a lot, but in most cases, so many people just turn out to be lucky, meaning that they were lucky, they landed at the right spot. And in this industry, luck should not be your main strategy. Luck should never be the main strategy of which you use to focus or to build your business. Your main aim should be to focus on knowledge. Why should anyone engaging in cryptocurrencies, investment, engaging in the blockchain industry, focus on knowledge? The only answer is it allows you to notice opportunities. With knowledge, you are able to notice opportunities. In this space, especially cryptocurrencies, blockchain in general, noticing opportunities early on is going to be one of the greatest, one of the best tools that you can ever have. Like noticing opportunities earlier on is going to be one of the best tool you could ever have. Why? Today, we end up meeting people who bought Bitcoin. Of course, here at the office, we get a lot of clients. We met someone who bought Bitcoin in 2017 or 16, something like that. They bought Bitcoin worth of $2,000, and by then they had 0.8, no, it was 0.6 Bitcoins. I don't remember the exact year, but they had 0.6 Bitcoins. But since they were not knowledgeable enough, they did not understand the dynamics of the business, they ended up losing those Bitcoins to different scams. Now imagine today you have 0.6 Bitcoins. Imagine you're in that position in life, 0.6 Bitcoins. That's why before we even speak of this business, before we even speak of the opportunities that are inside this ecosystem, first and most important thing should be for you to know that knowledge is everything. Knowledge is everything. Personally, I have been with Encryptors personally since 2021 when it started. There was no fancy, what we have right now. There was no fancy application. There were no fancy products. By then, Inc., the token that we are going to speak on later on, was not even launched. But I saw the opportunity, and with the little knowledge I had, with the little research that I personally did, I did my due diligence, and I saw the opportunity. I saw that there's something that this project is going to offer later on in the future that is going to be very good. And today we are going to speak of what I personally saw with the project. Because for most people who are just joining right now, they probably think like, okay, Encryptus is a wonderful platform, it's a wonderful project, but there is something that they usually miss. They did not see the vision that most people who started with the company in 2021 saw. Now, before we speak about Encryptus, we have to speak of why Encryptus exists. We have to speak about why Encryptus exists, because at the end of the day, the main goal of this session is not to sell you Encryptus, but rather to make sure that you understand the concept. Okay? So, Encryptus operates using a fundamental technology called blockchain. So, blockchain is the fundamental technology. technology, okay? So to simplify things, blockchain is just an ecosystem in which encryptors provides its services through. Ecosystem which the company provides its services through. Now, let's pause a little bit there. Let's speak a little bit about blockchain. And one thing that people always miss out when they hear the word blockchain. Blockchain is just a fundamental technology that allows a distributed network to store information in a decentralized manner. And what it basically means is that blockchain was brought about because people saw that the current centralized systems had a problem. The current centralized systems had an issue. And the main theme of why the blockchain is here, to me, is to increase accessibility. Increase accessibility. When you do things, when you do your own research, you'll find out that in so many cases, blockchain has been used because of the ease of accessibility in services, ease of accessibility in doing transactions. I always give an example. If you want to do a transfer today from one country to another, it takes days, sometimes hours. Of course, there are some countries which have tried to integrate, but it's usually a very long process. But today, if you want to send funds in any country, you can use cryptocurrencies, which is one of the applications of the blockchain technology to facilitate those transactions. So when you hear the word blockchain, you have to think it as the ecosystem in which something exists. Now, that does not nullify the basic logic of a concept. I'll give you an example. When you are traveling, for example, I live in Dar es Salaam right now. I want to go to Nairobi. I have so many options. I can take a flight from Dar es Salaam to Nairobi, which is going to take roughly an hour, okay, of a couple of minutes, or I can opt for perhaps taking a bus, which is going to take me even longer. But that does not nullify the thing that the distance between Dar es Salaam and Nairobi is a couple of thousand of kilometers. So this means that the logic of the business, whether it be on blockchain, whether it be on the centralized systems that we know, the logic has to remain the same. Blockchain only adds the part of accessibility, it adds security, it adds decentralization, it adds immutability. That's what blockchain adds. But the basic logic of the concept has to remain the same. Okay? So, in real life applications now, people saw that blockchain is something very wonderful, very strong. And at the end of the day, what they decided to do is, why don't we deploy the systems that we see here on Earth, the financial systems, the record management systems, using smart contracts to the blockchain? And with that, there was a rise of decentralized applications. Now, this is something that we don't want to go into a rabbit hole with, but what we are going to be talking about is that There are some people who saw the potential of blockchain, who saw what blockchain can do, and they decided to deploy different ideas into that ecosystem. Because we started at the beginning, we identified blockchain is an ecosystem. So it's composed of different ideas working together to reach a certain goal. And to me, I love blockchain because of the increased accessibility. The fact of that accessibility has been increased, people decided that, okay, it's very possible that we can create our projects on blockchain. And projects that are created on blockchain are generally termed as decentralized applications. And this is very common. It's called, you'll find this word everywhere, apps, decentralized applications. Now, I said before, blockchain does not nullify the business logic. It means that projects, or now generally applications that are built on a blockchain still carry the same business logic as to if they were deployed elsewhere. Projects that are built on blockchain still carry the same business logic as if it was not deployed on the blockchain. So if for a person who owns a shop, they need to buy somewhere cheaper and sell at a markup price for them to make a profit, it will be the same in the blockchain.